let me just clarify something for all you guys watching and listening here. In my opinion, Deontay Wilder cannot outbox Tyson Fury. In my opinion, Deontay Wilder couldn't even outbox the version of Tyson Fury who beat Pianetta on the weekend. No, not even that version of Tyson Fury. Wilder cannot outbox any version of Fury, in my opinion. So why am I so concerned about Tyson Fury fighting Deontay Wilder next? Because if Wilder wins the fight, he's not going to win it by beating Fury on points. He's going to win it by knocking him out. Deontay Wilder has been outboxed in several fights. For 4 rounds against Gerald Washington, totally outboxed. Luis Ortiz in the early rounds, outboxed. For several rounds in the Artur Szpilka fight, outboxed. And what happens? He eventually catches you. Deontay Wilder is prolific at landing his right hand. He's skilled at landing his right hand. So that would be my concern, is Tyson Fury could get caught at any point by Deontay Wilder, but for me, the likelihood would be in the second half of the fight when Fury starts to slow down, Wilder catching him with the big right hand, which he can land in a split second, and Tyson Fury crumbling to the canvas. Now, may the best man win. I'm not saying I want Fury to win or I want Wilder to win. It's not like that. All I want is for both guys to be at their best when they fight, so we can see an accurate representation of who is really the better man. Not one guy coming in there at 40 or 50% and the other guy at 100%. I don't want to see that ideally. I want to see both guys at 100%. And my concern is that Tyson Fury is far too rusty at the moment to do himself justice in a Deontay Wilder fight. He might be able to win it still, even now. And if he did, trust me, nobody's going to give Tyson Fury more praise than me if he was able to beat Deontay Wilder in his next fight. Nobody's going to give Fury more praise than me for that. Trust me, I would be singing Tyson Fury's praises for ages in my videos. Okay? But I'm concerned with the way Fury looked against Pianetta. And certain people have come at me sideways and said, oh, how can you say this and that about Fury's performance against Pianetta? He's going to destroy Deontay Wilder. He's going to totally clown him and outbox him easily. And, you know, people are acting like I'm stupid for being concerned about Tyson Fury going into the Wilder fight, being concerned that he might not produce a good enough performance to win the fight or might not produce a good enough performance to be at his best. I'm concerned. But people are looking at me like I'm stupid for that. Well, how about this? Ben Davison, Tyson Fury's own trainer, the guy who is with Tyson Fury day in, day out, who sees him in sparring day in, day out, who sees him in, you know, all kinds of training situations day in, day out. Ben Davison, Fury's own trainer, told Fury, do not take the Deontay Wilder fight next. Don't do it. Ben Davison says it in this interview, very candidly. So if the guy who's with Tyson Fury is concerned about Fury taking the Wilder fight next, why should I not be concerned? This guy's having second thoughts about it. This guy's unsure. This guy does not want Tyson Fury to fight Deontay Wilder next. He says so in this interview. Is he stupid too? The guy who, look, I'm not inside the Tyson Fury camp. He is. You're not inside the Tyson Fury camp. He is. And if he's concerned, if he don't want Tyson Fury to take the fight next, he wants a few more rehabilitation fights before taking on Wilder, then why are you not concerned? That's the question I want to ask you guys who are looking at me like I'm stupid for being concerned about Tyson Fury following that Pianetta performance. Yeah? How come Ben Davison's concerned? The man's with Fury day in, day out in the gym. He wants more time. He wants more rehabilitation fights before going into the Wilder fight. Why? Because ultimately he doesn't truly in his heart of hearts believe Tyson Fury's ready. Now he may believe Tyson Fury can still win the fight, but he wants Tyson Fury to be at his best before he goes in there. to make sure that he wins the fight, rather than give Wilder, who is a very dangerous puncher, any opportunity at all. Yeah. So, again, some person said, I thought you knew boxing, Hatman. How could you say that Fury didn't look good? It's obvious he was holding back. Is it obvious he was holding back? Says who? What, says John Fury? So we must believe every single thing that John Fury says about his son. He's incapable of saying anything untrue about his son. Is that what it is? So he's completely impartial and objective, John Fury, when he's talking about his son. So we must believe everything he says. If he says Tyson Fury was holding back, we all must believe it, put our houses on it as gospel. Is that what you're saying? Is that a logical thing to do? Look, Tyson Fury has skills. We all know that. We all know he's a more skilled, most of us know he's a more skilled fighter than Wilder. But where are his reflexes at? Where's his stamina going to be at? Where's his strength going to be at? How's he going to react when he gets cracked? I want to see Fury firing on all cylinders going into the Wilder fight. You know, and when I review the Pianetta performance, I'm not reviewing it just as a second comeback fight. As a second comeback fight, it was fine. I know he's not going to be back to his best in his second comeback fight, given what he's been through. It was fine as a second comeback fight. But put it in context. In context of him fighting Wilder 3 months after, it wasn't a good performance. That's not the kind of performance that fills people with confidence in Tyson Fury when he's going to fight Wilder 3 months afterwards. I would have liked to have seen him have more fights, get progressively more impressive, and then go in against Wilder. And again, if Tyson Fury wins the fight, all praises to him. He deserves an enormous amount of respect, an enormous amount of praise if he goes in there, because he's not going to be 100% in 3 months' time. So even if he beats Wilder, that was a less than 100% Fury beating 100% Wilder. And that means Fury needs to get extra praise. Yeah. And there'll be nobody praising him more than me if Fury pulls it off. Trust me. But I'm concerned for the same reason, or most of the same reasons, that Ben Davison, Fury's own trainer, is concerned. Yeah. I'm concerned for the same reasons. I am not expecting Deontay Wilder to outbox Tyson Fury. I'm not expecting any version. You know, I'm not expecting Wilder to outbox any version of Fury. If Wilder wins, he's going to knock Fury out. That's what's going to happen. Fury may be outboxing Wilder. Even this version of Fury may be outboxing Wilder for the first few rounds, for the first seven rounds. But I feel at some point, the likelihood is that Deontay Wilder is going to catch him. Because he's got a track record of catching people. He's got a track record of catching people that are outboxing him. And they might not be as tall and slick and stuff like that as Tyson Fury. But they have other attributes over Fury. They're bigger punchers than Fury. Some of them. Certainly, Luis Ortiz, I would say, is a bigger puncher than Fury. Will Deontay Wilder be cautious, so cautious when he takes a few of Fury's shots? And will he think, oh, you know what, I can't take any chances against this guy. He hits harder than I expected. Based on what I saw in the Pianetta fight, I don't think Deontay Wilder will be too worried about Fury's power. Does Tyson Fury hit harder than Gerald Washington? Maybe the power's on a similar kind of level. Deontay Wilder, after a few rounds of being thoroughly outboxed, he said to himself, you know what, I'm just going to walk this guy down. And that's what he started doing in the fifth. He started walking him down, and when he did start walking him down, he landed the right hand, and that's all she wrote. And by the way, let's be real, the stoppage in the Gerald Washington fight was a premature stoppage on reflection, because I watched the fight again. That was a premature stoppage. The referee was desperate to jump in, even before he actually stopped it, which was a bit off, if you ask me. But nonetheless, that's a side note. just clarifying my position on this Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight and why I'm concerned for Tyson Fury taking the fight in 3 months' time. You can't look at me like I'm dumb when Tyson Fury's own trainer shares the same concerns, and Tyson Fury's own trainer told him to his face, don't take the fight next. And you want to ask, the question, I thought you knew boxing, Hatman. Well, I do know boxing. Let me tell you what I know about boxing. I know that in nearly 30 years following this sport, I've never seen a fighter come through all the things Tyson Fury has come through and ever get back to their best. I've never seen it. Tyson Fury put on 100 pounds in weight. He was suffering from depression and he was near suicidal. He had drink problems and drug problems and was out the ring for nearly 3 years. I've never, in nearly 30 years of watching boxing, seen a fighter come back from all that and ever get back to their best. I've never seen it. I've seen fighters come back from hiatuses before, being away several years, and then they come back and have success, but not in the way that not in the way that Fury is planning to do. Vitaly Klitchko came back after several years out the ring and regained the world title in his first fight back. But Vitaly Klitchko didn't have drink and drug problems. He didn't have problems with depression. Vitaly Klitchko wasn't 100 pounds overweight. And Vitaly Klitchko didn't fight Deontay Wilder. He fought Samuel Peter, a guy who was absolutely tailor-made for him, a guy who was 6'1", fat, slow, a plodder. He couldn't get anywhere near Vitaly Klitschko. Way shorter than him, way slower than him, way more basic than him. Just from a physical point of view, Vitaly had enormous advantages. And he was probably in better shape than Sam Peter. Even though he'd been out the ring for several years, he was probably in better shape than Peter. Peter was fat. Tyson Fury's not in better shape than Deontay Wilder. And let's go further. Muhammad Ali, when he came back from his hiatus, people have said, Ali did it. He came back from three and a half years or however long it was in self-imposed exile. Well, Muhammad Ali, again, didn't have drink and drug problems. Now, Ali did drink, right? Even though he was Muslim, he did drink. But he certainly didn't drink to the extent of Tyson Fury. He certainly didn't put on 100 pounds. He certainly didn't have a cocaine habit. He certainly didn't abuse his body and have, mental health problems the way Tyson Fury has had during his time out the ring. And when Muhammad Ali did come back, in his first 2 comeback fights, he fought a far higher level of opposition than Tyson Fury has fought. He fought Jerry Quarry and Oscar Bonavena, who were 2 legitimate contenders at the time. They were tough men. They were not the elite, but they were tough guys who came to win, who were not coming there to lie down, and they gave it everything when they fought Ali. So those guys were much better than the guys Tyson Fury just fought in his 2 comeback fights. So they prepared Ali much better for championship level competition. But even then, when Ali, after 2 comeback fights, got in against Frazier, he lost. And Ali wasn't the same. It was clear, even from Ali's comeback fights, that he wasn't the same. That he didn't have his legs that he used to have in the 60s. He wasn't the same. And this is a guy who did not abuse his body anywhere near as much as Tyson Fury abused his. And yet Ali wasn't the same. And Ali lost against Frazier. And Ali lost 2 fights. He lost against Frazier and he lost against Norton before he eventually won the world heavyweight title back from George Foreman. So he didn't just jump straight back at the top level after fighting a couple of journeymen and then win the title. No. That's not what Ali did. Ali was written off by the time he fought Foreman because he'd already lost 2 fights. It was clear he wasn't his old self. He wasn't the same man who was dominating the heavyweight division in the 60s. Ali went through a hell of a lot of trials and tribulations before he eventually regained the world heavyweight title in his comeback. George Foreman himself regained the world heavyweight title. I've seen some people say, oh, Foreman regained the title in his 40s. If he can do it, Fury can do it. Again, George Foreman suffered 2 defeats before he eventually won the world title in his comeback. George Foreman must have had, 20-odd fights in his comeback before he won the heavyweight title again against Michael Moorer, and even before he fought Holyfield. That was his first crack at the heavyweight title during his comeback. He had loads of fights before he fought Holyfield. I don't know how many it was, but it was at least 10, 15 fights before he fought Holyfield during his comeback. He didn't just step straight in with Holyfield after fighting 2 journeymen. No, he had loads of comeback fights, gradually stepping up, and then he eventually got in there with Holyfield, and he still got a pasting. He got an absolute shellacking against Holyfield. And then a while later, he fought Morrison for the WBO belt, and he got a shellacking in that fight too. And he was getting another pasting from Michael Moorer for 9.5 rounds until he eventually caught up with Moorer and landed a right hand on his chin, and the rest is history. But the point I'm making is, if Tyson Fury is to come back and beat Deontay Wilder after only having Safari and Pianetta as rehabilitation fights, after losing 100 pounds, after battling depression, drink and drug problems, nearly 3 years out the ring, if he's to go in there and beat Deontay Wilder after all that, that is groundbreaking stuff. That's what you have to understand. You see, I'm concerned for Tyson Fury because I do know my boxing, history. And what Tyson Fury is attempting to do has never been done before in the heavyweight division. It's never been done before. That's why I'm concerned. Now, just because it's never been done, it don't mean that it can't be done. Records are there to be broken. But I can't base my faith in Tyson Fury on blind faith or because I like him, or I can't base it on any of that. I'm basing my view of this fight on what I do know about boxing. That's what I'm basing it on. I'm not basing it on this blind fanaticism that a lot of Fury fans are basing it on. No, I'm basing it on what I actually know about boxing. So if Tyson Fury pulls this off, this is a historic win because of the circumstances. If Tyson Fury pulls this off, this goes down in the history books as a historic win under the circumstances. And he has to be right up there. Let's be real. If he beats Wilder, this is a guy who knocked off Klitchko in Germany against the odds, knocked off Wilder after, suffering for 2.5 years, drink and drug problems, depression, massive weight gain, so on and so forth. We're talking about a Hall of Fame career if he manages to knock off Wilder. That's what we're looking at. So I'm not here trying to say, I hope Fury don't do it, or I don't want him. No. It's not about that. I'm trying to put myself, for one, as a boxing fan, I want to see the best fight the best when they're at their best. Okay? But I'm also trying to put myself maybe in the shoes of someone in Wilder's team. Someone in Fury's team. Would I want Fury to go in there at anything less than 100%? I personally wouldn't. Because the option is there to have more comeback fights before stepping in with a heavyweight champion. But for some reason, Fury wants to do it now. Is there pressure on him? I don't know. Maybe his self-belief is just that great. And if it is, good luck to him. But I share the same apprehension as Fury's own trainer, Ben Davison. And this is not an endorsement of Ben Davison as a trainer. I don't know how good he is as a trainer. That remains to be seen. But all I can say is I share the same concerns. And again, he is someone who is with Tyson Fury day in, day out. Why is the person who's with Fury day in, day out concerned and you're not? Because he sees Fury in the gym. He knows exactly what Fury can do. You don't, because you're not in the gym every day with him. Ben Davison is. And he's concerned. He don't want Fury to take the fight next. Think about that before you coming at me sideways acting like I'm stupid for being concerned about Tyson Fury fighting Wilder next. Anyway, drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out.